serious healing. Keep Tessie alive. This is the Arcane Surge, a ton of damage. The Phoenix is just destroying Houston, but somehow Lontar is managing to keep him alive, but caught into a full polymorph. The heals are just not there. Houston's health is looking like a yo-yo, going to 10% health, going to full. Now it's Tessia under fire here, David.
Looks like it. A nice double stun.
Ooh, nice.
Huge pressure, and that will be the first ice block of the game. That is huge for under pressure. I mean, look at the mana difference between these priests. But Incarnation from Flappers, he wants to get aggressive, but full clone lands. Houston with no AMS available to them. But it looks like Lontar is okay to sit through it, but he's going to have to will out of that follow-up fear. The Incarnation is still going through, and that's going to be the darkness? No, I'm sorry. That's just some Void Weaver effects going on. I thought that was darkness. Houston still taking a huge amount of pressure. He has that AMS back available to him, but he might need to just use it. He's just going to pop it. Apotheosis as well is going to be used from Lontar just to get him some throughput, to get him his DK back up. And under pressure, they are feeling it right now. If they can keep this momentum alive, maybe they could take Thessia down. He doesn't have that ice block available to him. Quick stun goes on the Relza into a follow-up chastise. What else do they have available to them? Thessia looking for the defensive ring. He does land it. Whoa, it actually gets reversed onto Thessia. He can't move. MPQ going to reconnect. A double Dragon's Breath to peel him up. MPQ in a Cyclone as well? No, I'm sorry. Houston now into a Cyclone. Flapper's doing a good job healing for his mage, but is it going to be enough? Relza already has the life swap.
Oh, Tessie is still just dead. This is unreal damage from NBQ. And under pressure, can they do it? He holds on by a
wow.
Overpowered barrier coming in at 10% health, but Tessie is so low on health. Relza gets stunned up, and Tessie will under pressure take game number one with their DKDH. A few close moments, but honestly, this was looking good for them.
Really good.
Absolutely. I mean, Lontar's mana is hurting, but man, that seemed like very in control under pressure. It seemed like it was more so just trading out of respect for possible goes from Dobob, as opposed to, looking to bring this game into a late game. They knew their win condition, they knew their advantages, and it showed. What do you think about the Feral coming out for Dobob? I was really surprised not to see the Rogue, but obviously under pressure, they've been preparing for the Rogue.
Not much, man. Just watching.
They have been focusing on this entire time, including with the
champion.
Void Weaver. So a Feral
World of Warcraft championships.
I don't know if I like it. I mean, Flapper's phenomenal. He got so many Cyclones. The Incarnation also was very, very threatening. The pressure seemed good, but it just didn't seem like they ever were able to get grasp of control of the game.
Yeah, I feel like the nice thing. So I want to say the reasoning behind the Feral Druid. There's two things. Number one, should be doing more damage than like an Outlaw Rogue, for example. Maybe not an Assassination Rogue, but you're going to be doing more damage to something like a Death Knight with all of that bleed pressure. In addition to that, it creates another person that can cast. You want to kind of overwhelm under pressure with
of course you can.
Casted spells.
Thank you.
That way they can't shut down everybody, right? Like, if Flappers is on a Rogue, all of a sudden they don't have to worry about Cyclone. That's more interrupts on Tessia, making it more difficult for him to do damage. Or even just more interrupts that they could put on Relza. So I think the idea for Dobob is just have three people that can kind of get control of the game. Relza with a bunch of damage and healing on the Void Weaver.
Arcane
Tessia,
just
he can
not
actually cast on the Arcane Mage. He'll do devastating amounts of damage. And then Flappers to kind of mix things up, land the Cyclones, and almost act as like a distraction in the match.
No.
Can be enabled more.
That makes total sense, and I could definitely imagine.
I've tried it. I don't really understand it.
Eating those interrupts would also make that Void Weaver's life just that much better.
I went to some places.
No momentum caught here in game number one.
As Fusion and
MPQ just kind of ran down the mage.
I don't get it.
And
what do?
You don't see that very often, especially in Arcane Mage, and especially not Thessia. So a solid game number one for this team. The question is, can Dobob figure out an answer to under pressure? Is their practice basically backfiring on them at this point?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Holy Death Knight especially is just super good.
Seriously, I don't know.
Now, especially when you pair it with like a high mobility class like the Demon Hunter. You're going to have constant stairs on them, which is really nice with the range change of ice. You can actually just do a lot of damage as well with things like Clawing Shadows. So you can see Houston getting Clawing Shadows out. That's all range damage. Death Glow is all range damage. So you can do a lot to a mage with this composition. And another thing that's really nice too for Lontar playing the Holy Priest. If you're a solo shuffle player, you kind of know how annoying it is as a Discipline Priest to fight a Holy Priest, because you both have fear, right? Like you want to be fearing each other, but only one has a range stun, and that's the Holy Priest. So the Holy Priest can just run on top of you, range stun you, and then fear you. And unfortunately, for the side of Domab, they don't have that luxury. So in a matchup like this, you'd actually rather be the Holy Priest. I think this composition to me makes a lot of sense. I do wonder why the blind pick is taking so long. Like, I would expect it. Under pressure, just lock it in immediately. Maybe there's something strategy, but same composition for Imperial Domain.
Yeah, maybe they're doing that strat where if you lose, you make them sit in their loss. I know that tilts the heck out of me. That would definitely work on me. And
that's a strategy. That's a strategy I used to love doing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Dobob. Are they going to go with Brunhilde's Rogue? Or are they going to go back with Flappers' Feral? That's really what I'm focusing on right now. That's my assumption.
I'd rather see Fire Mage.
Oh, I'm not too
honestly.
much of a
after
soccer
watching
person.
Fight against some of these cleaves, like I feel
But
like Fire
I
Mage
guess
does
so.
more damage than Arcane. Like I'm trying to understand
don't
the
have
advantage
to cast
of being the
nearly as
Arcane Mage.
much.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to cast at all. You literally just don't cast. I mean,
Bit
if you
more
fake,
indifferent
fake
to
out like a
that.
poly or something
I
like that,
don't
you can go for your
care. I
shifting
don't
power,
care
but
too much.
to do damage as a Fire Mage, you literally just spam out all instants. So you can't be shut down. It could be overwhelming pressure. I feel like I'd rather see Dobob play Fire in this one. Maybe there's like some argument you
Wait, it's
can
a
make
W
that Arcane is
to
a little bit more
Ronaldo?
durable. Their overpowered barrier, like if you can blink with overpowered barrier, you become, theoretically invisible and immune to damage. So maybe that's what they're going for, but I don't know.
Didn't look like that was like a late game. Just didn't seem feasible. It just seemed like under pressure, just could connect. And when you're connecting to an Arcane Mage, it goes back to my favorite saying. Then my absolute favorite saying:
you.
the best defense is a good offense. Give me that offensive pressure from a Fire Mage, and then all of a sudden, like I think the best times. Yeah, make him scared. Make him scared. There was a couple times Fusden dipped down pretty low, but he was always so confident in Lone Tar's ability to keep him aggressive that it just didn't seem to matter. He just traded that AMS on that short cooldown, and they just kept pressing W.
Love it.
All right. An Arcane Mage and a Rogue. Lots of changes up. I like this. I think this is the correct play. I wanted to see the Rogue over the Feral. Don't get me wrong, the casting of the Feral seemed really potent, but man, we've seen Brunhilde make magic happen. This is their bread and butter. Relza on the Priest, Brunhilde on the Rogue, and Thessia on the Mage, a Fire Mage at that, to your point. This looks like more control.
Yeah, if you had an opportunity to watch the games from yesterday with Gators back, there's a lot of moments in the game where it seemed really scary for Calvish to be the Fire Mage. Like he's under pressure against these unholy Death Knights, even Hunters. But he also, when he used Combust, just was one-shotting people. Like you can just kill through cooldown. So I like that as the Fire Mage. Tessie is obviously incredibly, we call him kind of a playmaker. And I feel like Arcane, obviously he's a good Arcane Mage, but I don't think it plays to Tessia's strengths, which is actually going and fishing for crowd control the entire game, right? Like having one effective school of magic with Arcane, landing polymorphs and doing your damage, is just not nearly as annoying as when he's playing Frost or Fire and can weave in, polymorphs with his fire damage or polymorphs with this frost damage. I think it just enables him more. So I believe, but we can take a look here at Fusden's build on the Unholy Death Knight. A little bit of mastery and haste, lots of versatility to be durable, kind of like a standard build here, I would say. Like Calling Shadows for range damage, placing the Scourge Strike. One of the things that makes Holy Death Knight's good at targeting mages.
I'm learning so much. Death Knight is definitely one of those that eludes me. Rider's champion. Yeah. In my Ret Paladin,
they reworked it a little bit. It's not as bad as it used to be, I'll tell you that. So it's actually quite fun to play, and it's really strong right now. So definitely give it a shot.
In the hands of Fusden, it definitely looks enticing. That's my problem with these tournaments. All these players are so good that whenever I watch these tournaments, I'm like, I gotta log in and
simultaneous.
I gotta go make an Outlaw Rogue, and then I'm like 06 in my third shuffle, and I'm like, I guess I'm not Brunhilde, Not yet, anyway. I can believe for sure. All right, Empyrean Domain is the second map of the series. This is the lower bracket, by the way, so teams are fighting for their tournament lives here to move on in this final tournament of the War Within. A lot of prestige, a lot of money on the line, and most importantly, that spot moving forward into the finals, into the semifinals. But here we go, Thessia continuing to be the main kill target for this DH Demon Hunter our DK Demon Hunter composition, regardless of being on that fire. This is combustion. This is adrenaline rush. This is disarm.
Oh,
and Fusion's
no.
going to sit in this AMZ. He is going to respect that damage.
He was just, I mean, he was in the anti-magic shell, or zone, sorry. He's in the anti-magic zone, and Lone Tar is just in the Spirit of the Redeemer. He was still just dying, so that's the power of that Fire Mage when combustion is up. But when combustion is not up, you're not going to be doing a lot. So this is the part of the game where Tessia, maybe he goes for some polymorphs if he can find it, but the damage really isn't going to be that threatening. He has Relza in the back line, of course, on that Void Weaver, and if you are not being shut down on the Void Weaver, you can do a lot of damage, a lot of healing, and you have really good longevity with your mana. However, you can fall behind on healing, and that's kind of what's happening. Tessie's getting low on health, a little bit too low for comfort, but resetting that combustion, that's going to be up in about 13 seconds, and that is when Dobab can get really aggressive.
All right, set up onto MBQ. The triple cheap shots coming out, locking him down, doing lots of pressure. He's going to catch an AMS from his buddy Fuston and stabilize for now. Lone Tar still rotating through his short defensive cooldowns, but a full stun lands onto Relza. If they can connect, and Brunhilde knows that, he's going to gouge him up. Huge fear onto Brunhilde to stop, and they are going to reconnect finally onto Tessia. And look at Relza. He's in Narnia. He's got to get back and heal his mage up ASAP. Fuston and MBQ, though, constantly getting peeled by this rogue, constantly getting peeled by the priest. And Tessia is doing a good job getting backed up. But this is the combustion. This is the smoke bomb. Huge damage going to be left out. Lone Tar also going to press that fade to avoid the follow-up CC from Brunhilde. But Fuston in a disarm. He can't heal right now. Huge damage. The blind will be trinketed, and that will be the Guardian Spear. Another few important buttons forced out from under pressure.
Nice spear. Oh, Tessia's will goes into Ice Block. Relza had to trade out his will or his trinket as well. I'm not sure what broke that. He might have used the Shadow of Death on the fear,
that was good block.
Lone Tar making a push.
That wasn't a good block.
Ice Block out of the way. Tessia, maybe he could have greeted it and just gone with the Cauterize, but opted to go for the safe play and not overlap them. He's still low on health. Might just die. I can't believe the pressure here from under pressure. They're destroying Tessia, but once that combustion is up, it's going to be a different story. That is when Tessia can strike back. So that is the situation under pressure is really going to have to navigate here in just a few short seconds.
Look at the cross CC going on under pressure. Everyone was in CC there. Fusion dipping down to half, but now Lone Tar's finally out of the CC chains, and Thessia's got to be the one in trouble. He's got no ice block. He still has that Cauterize. Pain suppression will be used, but the Chastise into full fear. This could be it for Thessia right here, right now. He's desperately trying to get away. The disarm fades onto Fusion. The Cauterize still has not procced because that is the Void swap from Relza, but this is the combustion. They need to swap the pressure out right here, right now. Lone Tar caught into that polymorph. MVQ sees it. He drops the darkness between catching his own fear. Fuston is going to catch some huge apotheosis heals and stabilize, and Thessia knows he is the new win condition. He is on the run, just desperately trying to get away from this double melee, but they will connect. Thessia is just kiting expertly, but gets gripped back in. MVQ caught into a stun. Fuston caught into a stun. The triple cheap shots, the full ring. Can they kill MVQ right here, right now? The AMZ will be committed by Fuston to keep his Demon Hunter alive. Thessia, while kiting these guys, are finding opportunities to kill. The Strangulate to stop this mage, but the life grip to get him away. MVQ desperately trying to reconnect. Relza now caught into a fear. Brunhilde caught into a fear. Thessia completely alone. Does he have the buttons to get through this? The nice roots will stop the double melee from connecting for now. Thessia seems to be alive, but for how much longer? The double mass poly. Huge, keeping Thessia alive. Just insane plays to keep this game out longer. Icebound forward to going to be committed from Fuston. Full kidney shot on the Lone Tar. Fuston's got to be careful then.
Fuston might just outright die. Lone Tar trades out the Void Shift. Here's an opportunity. Big hunt coming in from MBQ. There's going to be a lot of pressure here, but Tessia has managed to hold on to his Cauterize. He has that in his back pocket, but it's not that easy to kite a DK and a Demon Hunter. It's a race. Fuston's low. Tessia's low. Who is going to fall first? Strangulate goes out onto Relza. He immediately uses the trinket on it to just get out of that silence effect and keep Tessia alive. Beautiful triple fear coming in. Lone Tar and Fuston having great teamwork there as Brunhilde and Tessia are down to half once again. Combustion up in about 50 seconds, but I'm not sure who's going to win this. This is so back and forth. Lone Tar just struggling to keep Fuston alive, just throwing in heal after heal. He's got 0 cooldowns left. Lone Tar has run out of gas. Relza has run out of gas. I don't know who's going to win this.
Dude, in 25 seconds, Thessia has a block back too. This is huge. This is so close. But Under Pressure needs to make something happen right now. But they're getting CC'd. The Dragon's Breath lands on the Lone Tar, but nothing followed it up just yet as Thessia is getting locked down by MBQ. Relz is just lighting up MBQ in the backline, just desperately trying to get the throughput that he needs. But Thessia, huge chunk of damage. 4 seconds on Ice Block. Relz, if you can keep him alive a little bit longer, but Combust is ready. Lone Tar has nothing. He has no trinket. He has no Guardian Spear. He's got no life swap. There's the stuns by Brunhilde. The setup is here. Huge combustion damage. AMS and Icebound Fortune will be committed. Brunhilde still trying to push in through the blind. Lone Tar now caught into a gouge. The followed up. Houston, how are you alive? The disarm lands on him. Houston can't do a whole lot of heals through it, but Houston survives. The Guardian Spirit comes off a cooldown, and Under Pressure are still in this.
That was the best position Lightwell in the universe, just topping off Houston while he's behind the pillar. Line of sighting Tessia. Now is Tessia on the back foot. He is getting absolutely destroyed. One paint suppression is available here for Relz. He goes for a fear. It's back and forth once again. I feel like if Tessia can get to another combustion, they can close it out. Stuns on Houston. He's low on health. That's going to be the smoke bomb, but I think Houston should be able to hold on. He's his Unholy Frenzy up right now, looking to get super aggressive here on Relz. They might actually just go for a healer all in, realizing that Tessia has the ice block left. A bit of a strategy change. They have some time, but the more they're not on Tessia, the more he can just reset that combustion. And this is going to be really scary, but I don't know how Relz is going to stay alive. He does have a pain suppression. Might need to trade it before it's too late. He's so low on health. He is really greeting it here. Houston and MPQ are just all over him. Pain suppression trades, but it might be too little too late. Houston, no! Gets disarmed. He's going to die to the combust. Anti-magic zone comes down. He gets knocked out of it. Beautiful play. Relz could fall. Houston could fall. It could be a cross kill here, but it looks like it will be. Houston that falls first. No, I don't know. Is he going to be able to hold on? Death strike after Death Strike. Lone Tar goes into the Spirit of the Redeemer. He's going to keep him alive. I can't believe Houston's alive. And now Under Pressure needs to try to get some damage out.
Thanks, man.
Game.
Kidney shot on the Fused, and the onslaught is not done just yet. But Lone Tar,
that was sick.
He is tapped. All he has is a trinket and apotheosis, and there's the apotheosis.
They're fucked.
Taking a huge amount of pressure. He's got a line
They
of
weathered
sight
the
for now.
storm.
And at this part, this much dampening, look at Relz's mana. Under Pressure might have just done it. Under Pressure might have survived the onslaught and got to their win condition, but they got to be careful. The full disarm onto Fusden. He's out of line of sight from Lone Tar right now. Thessia caught into that ice block defensively. This is it. It's make or break for both these teams right here, right now. The cheap shot lands on the Lone Tar. Houston desperately just trying to line of sight. AMS gets chewed through so quickly. A nice double disorient to slow down the DPS from Dobob, but they're so healthy. Relz is somehow keeping his team completely aggressive with no mana available, and in just a few short seconds, he will have that health swap available to them. But Houston, on the other hand, has nothing. MBQ has nothing. Lone Tar has nothing. Can he make another miracle happen?
I can't believe it. MBQ on the run once again. And now it's Houston's turn to soak up some of the damage. Brunhilde's going to be low. Big kitty shot comes in, but I think MBQ could fall. Anti-magic shell from Houston backing up his Demon Hunter, but it's too much damage. MBQ gets sniped. This is an insane game. This is the closest game. One of the best games we've seen all weekend.
That was sick.
I don't know. Any lesser RP is just going to get destroyed by Under Pressure in this situation, but Tessia just refuses to die, and they're going to keep playing it out. Lone Tar and Houston, realizing they're completely tapped on mana. I think it's unlikely that they do win, but don't want to give up in this situation. There's a lot on the line. I think that's going to be it, though. Relz in the back line just throwing in damage. Tessia as well, and Houston will inevitably go down, but what a game.
Holy moly.
Tied up.
You can definitely tell that there is some practice between these two teams.
So sick.
Running the road.
It was so sick.
Obviously, they didn't want to play the exact composition that they probably were playing in scrimmages, but I am so glad they do, because the level of play that we are witnessing right here in the final day of the War Within tournament has been nothing but excellent. It was incredible play. Thessia, I mean, I'm starting to understand a little bit more thoroughly why every other mage in the world gushes about this guy. This dude should have died 40 times in my mind. Like, it was like, how many times did he have like 10% life, no block available to them, and he's just living through like pain suppression at 30% dampening? Just unreal. The blinks, the shimmers back. It's just look at him juke him. He's just like turned around. He's like, oh crap, where'd he go? I feel that. I feel that as a melee player.
Tessia is insane, but as every good mage, and every good rogue knows the mage is only as good as your rogue. So, I mean, we got to give a lot of props to Brunhilde too, landing really clutch kidney shots, dismantles, cheap shots. Rel's doing an incredible job. It's a team effort in this situation. But I really like seeing Tessie on the Fire Mage.
Oh my gosh.
It's very similar to what we saw with Calvish yesterday, right? Like, as that Fire Mage, combustion is just such like an X factor that you can just turn the game around. And even though I think MDQ and Feaston did a good job, I was looking at it and like you actually have a solid amount of answers, right? Like the 2-minute anti-magic zone and darkness. You can always kind of trade a big cooldown for the combustion, but there's moments in the game where Tessie is blast waving out of that safety, you know, and then all of a sudden the game gets crazier again. It's just,
oh my gosh. That's a
it.
good point. Yeah, that AMZ was a saving grace quite a few times, and the adaptation from Dobob is exactly why Dobob has the reputation that they do have. And, you know, I said it before. I guess I got to say it again, even though I'm contradicting my own prediction. You can't count Dobob out. You can never count Tessie out. I mean, or Flappers for that matter. We saw Flappers and Relza go all the way from, like, the team that no one thought anything of to getting like first place at a LAN. You know what I mean? Like these guys have been around the block. They've been capable of being consistent in the past, and now in the very final opportunity of the expansion, they are bringing their A game. And I'm praying we see the exact same matchup, because that was so sick. That was one of my favorite games of this entire season.
I think it's just going to be a map thing. For Under Pressure, I feel like the fact that they won on the blind pick is really important for them. Like, Hook Point should theoretically be way harder here for Dobob. I think Imperial Domain, the little tiny pillars, so much open space is really nice for them. For Under Pressure, obviously, immediately going to be Hook Point. And I would be very surprised if it wasn't the same matchup. And I think we can kind of expect the same matchup for the rest of the tournament, for the rest of the series at least.
I'm already thinking as well from like Echo's perspective watching this. Like they heard that Lone Tar is preparing specifically for them, and I think we see exactly what the fruits of that labor has produced against Dobob here. This is an incredibly tough matchup for both sides, I would say. I don't even know which composition I would edge this out. It seems so closely matched.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very interesting fight, right? Because for Under Pressure, it's all about just surviving, trying to stay on top of Tessia, hoping you can take them down with those unholy frenzies as well. I mean, it seems like it's very similar for both teams, actually. Both teams are just trying to live, get to their one-shot cooldowns, and just try to completely overwhelm. And what ends up happening when you have two teams that are this good is they're making those effective trades with their defensive cooldowns. Like, what Tessia and Dobob are doing to survive this is not easy. Like, a lesser RMP is dead, you know, in 60 seconds, 90 seconds. And on the flip side, I mean, it's not easy for Under Pressure as well. They overlap their defensives. You know, they mess up, you know, coordinating their zones and their darknesses. They're also going to fall really fast. So super high level play from both teams. And it's exciting to watch, like, these various setups go head to head.
Yeah, watching Brunhilde put on a clinic with his peels as well has been really interesting. And then not only that, but like kind of balancing the peels, like the stun DRs with their goes has been awesome to see. I mean, outside of Combustion, Brunhilde is just locking down MBQ. But then when Combustion is up, you just see cheap shot, kidney shot, cheap shot on the whole team, just setting up his team and just kind of, buttering him up, as people like to say, getting his opponents ready nice and still for maybe a Rain of Frost, a Polymorph, or perhaps even a Fear from Relza. All three of these players are just doing so well together. It's really nice to see. Sure, we talk about Rogue Mage all the time. I know there's a lot of salt about Rogue Mage. There's always salt about Rogue Mage dying in CC. But this team is just insane. Like, I feel like it would be like an honor to get like locked out by this team on the ladder.
You know, I always say, like, good and evil is a matter of perspective in a lot of ways, especially in WoW competitions. Right. You know, a lot of people that hate Rogue Mage, but there's equally amount that hate Demon Hunter, Death Knight. So you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and hunters, and just it just depends on what you play. You know, every warrior in the game doesn't want to play against a mage. You know, every mage in the game doesn't want to fight against a hunter. So it's Yeah, this seems to be a relatively even matchup, though. Like, I do get the feeling either side can win.
I mean, this is what it's all about. This is why we're here, man. For matchups like this. I love it. You know, we talked a lot about, like, there's different compositions that we like to see that, you know, be a little bit more balanced, that put on a better show here and there. But, you know, looking on paper, Under Pressure just seems like a zug-zug. But, man, they're doing a lot of nuanced, cool stuff.
Way.
No way.
No. I agree with you. It's not Zug Zug. Like,
oh yeah. At least that would be the excuse that I would say is that they're just zugging if I lose to them on the ladder.
MBQ plays Demon Hunter like a graceful ballerina. You'll see him flipping through the skies and extending by floating to immune damage. Big opener here on MBQ as they go into game number 3 elimination series of the finals. There's a lot of money on the line. Opportunities to play against Streamer Zones, potentially Echo. So both these teams need to be putting their best foot forward. It seems like it's going to be a race on Tessia here once again.
Looks like it. Thessia on hook point, nonetheless, is going to have his work cut out for him, getting away from this double melee cleave composition from Under Pressure. But so far, so good. Wow, a Ring of Frost lands on the Lone Tar, and Fuston is in a lot of pressure. He has no AMZ available to him, but he catches the Guardian Spirit before the Smoke Bomb. Huge deal from Lone Tar. A little bit of a misplay, perhaps, from Buniti, but the full fear will land on the Relza. That's going to force the racial... The Forsaken racial, keeping Thessia alive for now, and it just doesn't seem like this mage has anywhere to go, this poor guy.
Yeah, this map is not big, and that's exactly why Under Pressure has selected it here. Going to give them opportunities to play on top of Relza and Tessia, making it much more awkward for them to heal. And I think that's one of the reasons why Relza has actually gone Holy. So he switched over from the Void Weaver to the Holy Priest in this matchup. Maybe give them a bit less longevity. They're going to have less damage as well. I think a few things about the Holy Priest should be less mana efficient. So if it goes to the late game, that might give Under Pressure more of an edge. But we'll likely not be able to get kind of cheese in the same way and less susceptible to being all in on the smaller map.
Yeah, Holy Ward also being picked up by the PvP talent from Relza, preventing some more CC perhaps. I'm going to be keeping a closer eye on that. But this is Combustion. Thessia is so low. A huge Serenity heal is going to keep him alive for now. But Fuston in the disarm. MBQ.
Damn, everything's dying. Holy shit.
No help. That's the darkness. He gets knocked right out of it, though. Guardian Spirit going to be committed on the Fuston, but now it's not available for MBQ. MBQ holding onto that trinket very smartly. But Thessia, surely this is going to be cauterized. It is. Huge damage lands onto him. Relza's got 10 seconds until his next Guardian Spirit. No trinket available for 2 minutes. And all of a sudden, Under Pressure is catching momentum here on hook point.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, getting that caught out of the way is going to not allow Tessia to feel so confident when he uses that ice block. So might trade it out a bit more preemptive here. Houston's still low on health. Tessia gets interrupted and getting absolutely destroyed. Combustion coming up at 24 seconds. What is going to be the answer? I don't know if they're really going to have much. Lone Star already into the Spirit of the Redeemer. Tessia's next Combustion could just wipe the floor with MBQ and Fuston. I think they're going to have to line of sight, pull away if they can, because that's coming up in just a few short seconds. Let's see what they can do. Deep shots go out. Tessia unable to find the Ring of Frost. It's going to be a gouge. Pulls the trigger on the Combustion. Big kidney shot here on Fuston. He's just on the run. They need to line of sight. They need to get away from the Phoenix. MBQ is getting blasted. He glimpses to avoid some damage and doing a really good job at diffusing that situation. Tessia really wasn't able to capitalize on that burst moment.
The level of awareness from both these teams of like the win condition or even a momentum opportunity is just like off the charts. Not only are they like topping the meters when it comes to the DPS that these classes are capable of doing, but they are also fully aware of their every single ability on their opponents. But Fuston may be overextended. He's in a full cheap shot to follow it up. Lone Tar going to fade in and get into line of sight of Fuston. Fuston's going to be A-okay for now. Thessia gets kicked on that ice. On that frost tree for just a quick second, and another follow-up interrupt. He's not going to get that Ring of Frost. This Demon Hunter DK is not going to let him take control of the game whatsoever. Thessia dipping down to health. Relza's mana is becoming a problem. I haven't seen him use that Holy Word a whole lot. Who needs CC when you just have the throughput of Fuston and MBQ? Huge damage lands on the Thessia, and that's going to be an
Guardian
ice block
and
at the same
block.
time as Guardian Spirit, Ben.
Yeah, but Fuston needs to be on the run once again. Lone Tar gets chastised, but I think as long as they're all clumped up and Prayer Mending's bouncing, they should be okay. It's when one target is isolated in the open. That's where it's going to be really awkward for Lone Tar to actually heal through it. But Holy Priests are particularly good at healing through this kind of spread rot damage with Prayer Mending bouncing on everybody. So now Fuston and MBQ once again are going to be making a push. But that overlap, like you mentioned, Tessie had no ice block, no cauterize, no greater invis, not a single defensive cooldown is going to be available for him, and Relza could really struggle to keep him alive. That voice shift really is that last line of defense.
All right, here's the setup from Brunhilde. Everyone's in a stun. Follow-up stun on the Fused, and the polymorph lands on the Fused, and Lone Tar is going to remove that polymorph. I'm not even sure how that... Oh, I think it actually ended up getting reversed. Fused still not committing any of his defensive cooldowns here. Chastise stun from Lone Tar is going to slow up Brunhilde, and he's going to trinket out of that. Brunhilde knows that the momentum is not in his favor, and he needs to get something happening right now. Lone Tar caught into that angel form, though, immuning any follow-up CC, getting that throughput out, and Relz has got his work cut out for him, but in 3 short seconds, guys, 3 short seconds, we have combustion, and some magic can happen for Dobob. Dobob, though, I really do feel like this is their game to lose here on Hook Point. All the momentum is in Under Pressure's favor. If they can pull off a miracle here, it would be a huge deal for this series.
Oh, absolutely. But Houston, he needs to hold on just a little bit longer. Chastise goes out on the Lone Tar. It is a bit of a race. Houston, smoke bomb. Oh, no, the smoke bomb. Devastating. Lone Tar finally connects the heals. They proc the Guardian Spirit, and Houston could still just die. Voice Shift comes in. It is back and forth. Both these teams are now running on fumes, but Relza has managed to recover some of his cooldowns. He's got the Voice Shift. He's got the Spirit, and Houston could just outright die. Darkness is cheating death. Or Under Pressure right now, keeping him alive beautifully down there by MVQ. And now Tessia, once again, needs to be very careful here, doing such an excellent job kiting around.
Oh my god,
might
man,
be able
so
to
much
turn
pressure.
this match around, win the swing match, and that would be massive for the series. Houston is in a lot of trouble. The gouge comes in. Struggling to keep up.
Oh my
Needs to be careful.
god.
In the meantime, it is back and forth between these two teams.
Lone Tar is just struggling to keep this DK alive, but finally Fusion catches a little bit of a breather, but he's just getting lit up. The grip on the Thessia gets life gripped back there, not letting this mage into the grips of this double cleave team. And Under Pressure, just completely defensive on the pillar back here. Symbol of Hope from Lone Tar is going to get a little bit of mana back, but here's the kidney shot into the double fear. It's going to be Forsaken immediately. The cheap shot follows it up on the Lone Tar. This is Combustion. Huge pressure. Even Holy Ward out for Relza. They can't follow it up onto him. Brunhilde's going to go ahead and disarm Fusion.
Oh my
Huge
god.
amounts of damage.
Oh
Damn,
my
Lone Tar healed through this at
god.
33% dampening. It looks like Fusion's going to be okay, but the Spirit comes off a cooldown in the nick of time. That should be a big deal. That's a lot of throughput. It's also going to give them a lot of throughput moving forward. Thessia now has Ice Block back available to them, but Relza is tapped on mana.
I'm so afraid for Houston. The fear comes in blind. Lone Tar immediately trinkets it. Any more crowd control could just end it, but Houston and MVQ are continuing to make a push there. Unafraid in the face of death. Houston has 0 cooldowns. That anti-magic shell available. Lone Tar running on fumes. Mana is not looking good, but that's the only thing Under Pressure has going in their favor is a little bit of a mana lead. Chassia is incredibly low, goes into the ice block, still has the cauterize, but I don't know if Relza is going to be able to recover them. I mean, this is just so back and forth. Houston gets gripped away. Beautifully done there by Lone Tar, but Brunhilde is on a solo mission right now. Kidney shot into gouge, asphyxiate onto Brunhilde. Houston stunning him up, trying to slow him down. He's got no evasion. They could go after Brunhilde here, but leaving Tessia open is not the move. Combustion gets ripped out once again. It is overwhelming pressure from Tessia, but he is also low. It's back and forth. Relza trades out the void chip. Houston's low on health once again. Who's going to fall first?
Shit.
It's looking like
Yes!
Tessia,
Nice.
and he does. But maybe no. Oh my gosh! This is such an insane series. Under Pressure. Lone Tar, we gotta get a clip it and ship it, as Zico would say, on that grip on the kidney shot, bringing his deathline back to the pillar to survive. I mean, that was such a great play. If he got stunned in Tessie's line of sight, it was over. He was dead, 100%. So